So, a lot of times when I come online, I see information or news articles, things like that, about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. Now, a lot of people have told me that, not a lot of people, a lot of these outlets have said that Meghan is, difficult. They're getting divorced, all this kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, I never really believe stuff like that because I know the racial microaggressions and the bigotry that Meghan has had to endure from the other side of the pond. I've seen it on television. I've heard it. I'm just like, So honestly, I really didn't pay any attention. I just was like, another person dealing with what minorities go through. But I keep seeing it. So it made me wonder, like, what is going on in this relationship? You really have to look at the situation to know like what's really going on. And people have this whole narrative painted that Meghan is this narcissistic, mastermind who is just running poor Harry into the ground, and he just doesn't know what to do. And oh, poor guy. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't remember this narrative about him before now. Before he was known to be pretty much, it seemed to me, in charge of his own life. Now all of a sudden, oh, he has this, woman who is running him, And I know that a lot of times women of color go through this stereotype. So I want to know how their relationship really is. So I went to the cards and I'm like, what's really good with Meghan and Harry? Like, what's going on with this relationship? Are they in love? Because they make it seem like they're so in love and it's the 10 of cups and, it's a fairy tale. So somebody lying, period, point blank, between the media and, them themselves, somebody is not being honest. So today we're going to find the truth. My name is QueenAusetHeru. And thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to anyone and everyone who might like it as well. If you would, please leave us a positive comment in the comment section. And if you want to get a reading done for yourself, please hit me up on social media or in my email. I will be so happy to give you a reading. Likewise, if you would like to become a patron on Patreon, that link is underneath this video. Also, if whenever possible, I will always put the links to the cards, to the decks that I use. I hate when I watch a video and somebody got a cool deck and then I'm like, what deck is that? So I always try to put the links underneath whenever they are available. All right, so let's get started. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is the relationship. This one is Meghan. This one is Harry. And this is the outcome. There we go. And these are our clarity cards. Bam. So let's take a look at these up here first. Let me move this out the way. Here we go. You really can't see the name of the cards, I like to tell you. The first card is Meghan's, and it is the 7 of Cups. This is a very interesting card to see for somebody who's in a relationship, because what it indicates is that Meghan has other options and she's considering her other options. And when I say options, I mean suitors. So this relationship between him and her is far from paradise because she's already considering if she should stay in the relationship or not. They've only been married for 5 years. So you mean to tell me after 5 years you already considering should you stay with this person or not? That shows a lack of compatibility. So something is going on. So she has other suitors in mind and is questioning, should she stay in this relationship? So it started off with a bang, right? Number 2 is Harry. Harry got the 5 of Pentacles. Again, let me show you because you can't see right there. 5 of Pentacles. So when you get the 5 of Pentacles, you're upset about something. And in the picture, it's a wedding. So he's upset about how the relationship is going. I see arguing. If you look directly at that picture, the window pane, I see them arguing, them going back and forth. There seems to be some type of distress going on. So this is interesting to me because there's also other women in his cards. So it seemed like they both are looking at other options. That's interesting. But it seems to me like he's a little bit more, I would say, sad about the way the relationship is going. I think that he really would like it to be going in a different direction. Harry comes up here as our King of Cups. Let me show him to you. He's right here. He's our King of Cups. So he is not a dummy. Y'all make it, some of y'all make it, not y'all, but some of the media make it sound like he's this idiot that she's just, you know, leading around by the nose. And the cards are like, nah, not really. I mean, yeah, he's easygoing. The King of Cups is cool. I like the King of Cups. He's my favorite king. He's very cool. He's very down to earth. He takes good care of his kids. He's an awesome father. So he comes up as having some of those good qualities as far as that's concerned. But he doesn't come off as like some simpleton or like some dude that's just weak and really, and she just running, you know, running them into the ground, you know. That's definitely not what's happening. He is not stupid. And let's see. She comes up right here as the Death card. The Death card is all about transformation and changing. So this means that, you know, she's changed a lot, you know, during this situation. I'm sure this was not easy on either one of them. They were heavily scrutinized. They both were treated very unfairly. So I'm sure this was, you know, really difficult. They made some mistakes too along the way, I'm sure. You know, we've seen some of the mistakes on television, you know, depending upon how you look at it. And then here's our outcome card. So the outcome card means that she might leave him. The Queen of Pentacles is reversed here. So I'm going to turn it around just so you can see the card. She came up reversed. So this means that the Queen may leave. And the Queen in this case, not the Queen of England, but his Queen. So it's saying that she may actually pull up. Interestingly enough. It looks like to me, yeah, she might even be happier that way, to be honest with you. But it's not set in stone. So I'm not going to say that they're definitely going to break up. It just says that it's difficult in this relationship. I would say it's on life support. It's not dead, but you know how it is when you're on life support. You haven't crossed over yet, and then and sometimes there's a miracle, right? Sometimes somebody's on life support, and you know they come back. Let me see. And sometimes we have to say goodbye to them. So let's take these. These are our first love oracle cards. The first card is redacted. This card right here, this means that in their relationship, there's things between them that's being left out. This could be feelings. It could be, you know, just sneaky stuff they're doing behind each other's back. Because remember, I told you, both of them is looking elsewhere. Both of them is wondering, you know, am I going to stay? So they're probably keeping that part of it from each other. But look at that wild card in the middle. This is how you know it's not over. Because the wild card is showing us that it's a 50-50 shot. They could actually resurrect this relationship. Or it could just die. They could break up and get back together in 6 years, you know, 5 years, 6 months, and stuff like that. So this is a wild card relationship. It's one of them kind of relationships you really can't call because it is like it seemed like it's over, then it's not quite over. But then they fighting again, but then maybe not. It's one of those kind. Everybody knows that couple that always threatens to break up, but they still together. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of couples like that. I know a couple that's been together for 26 years, and every other weekend they threatening to leave each other. Okay, they ain't going nowhere. So this is the thing about this particular vibration is that this couple may or may not actually split when you have a wild card. Money is a big issue with this couple. I don't know what's going on with their finances, but it's a big part of the problem. And I know from being in a relationship when I was married and our finances wasn't right, a lot of relationships break up either between finances or infidelities. And I see both going on here. The financial problems definitely, and they may not be necessarily having an affair with another person, but they definitely both have other options. They're definitely both looking at others. Put it like that. This relationship has caused both of them a lot of heartache and grief. The press being in their business. You know, and I know some of y'all might be like, well, you know, they did documentaries, they told us their business. I know, but what choice did they really have? From the moment they got together, it was a media circus, and I think they were just trying to get ahead of the narrative. You know, a lot of people do that. They try to get ahead of the narrative and spin their own PR, and I think that's what, you know, all these, you know, the book and the sharing has been. But I don't think it's really working. I think it's causing more damage really to the relationship. They tell us that there's a lot of grief and sadness in this relationship. So I'm thinking that, remember, they just got finished saying that he's sad about the state of the relationship. So it's telling us that there's grief and sadness on both sides. I think her grief and sadness comes more so from, you know, how she's been treated and how the relationship has gone. And I think he's really sad about that too. And he's also sad that the relationship isn't how he wants it to be. The outcome card is separation. So if nothing changes, because remember, it's over top of that wild card. So if nothing changes, they may actually separate. And that could be the end of the relationship, or it could resurrect at another time. Again, that's that wild card energy. But if nothing changes right now, they may separate, which is really kind of sad, you know, when you think about it. I always hate to see couples break up. I love to see them triumph. All right. So it's not as bad as I thought it was, but it's not as good as they try to make it seem. You know, I'm not seeing, like, you know, real, you know, oh, she's abusing him, and I'm not seeing that, but I am seeing that it's not good. First of all, I keep on seeing that they're talking to third parties. Look at this, third party love. So I believe that whoever is talking to who, and I believe it's both of them, it's being done online. I don't feel like it's more, I don't feel like it's like it might not even be a full-fledged affair. It could just be, you know how your lover starts messing up and you start talking to your ex? And your ex ain't around, your ex in another country, another state or whatever, but you do start emotionally going to them, talking about what's bothering you and stuff like that. That's what I feel like could be going on online or on their phone, you see. And they could both be doing it, you know. It could have gone a little further than that, or it might go a little further than that. But this is where it starts. We all know this is where affairs start. Affairs don't usually start like out of the ethers. It usually starts just like this. Being unhappy and reaching out to someone, and that person being all the happiest that you've returned. So both of them had that third party energy going on. So this is definitely problematic. This is Harry's card. It says that Harry just wants to do what he loves. That's the thing about Harry. It's like he just want to do him. And I feel like because of that energy, some of the times they're going to clash, because what he wants and what she wants can't always match. So one of their biggest, rifts between them, friction between them, is going to be that. They also have a karmic bond. This is interesting because the karmic bond is telling me they've known each other before. Usually if you have a karmic bond with someone, you've known them in a past life. A lot of times they were a lover in the past life, and something may have happened or gone wrong between the two of you, and you come back together in the next life to try to clean it up. So these two, this is not their first dance. This is not their first time at the rodeo. I'm not surprised they found each other, because when I was listening to somebody talk about them one day, the person was saying that he is a Virgo and she's a Leo, and I was like, that's an interesting combination. But she also has, I think, Libra placements and Cancer placements, and he had, I think, Virgo and Capricorn placements, and I don't remember the third one. But I just thought it was an interesting combination, but now I see it's because it's a karmic love. And that means they have some unfinished business that they came back together to do, which is interesting, because if they get divorced, if they break up, that means they got to come back together again, unless they finish it this time. Also, a lot of this was about business. You know, I really get the impression from these two that they really tried to come together and do some. I know they did like I think they did a documentary, they did a book, you know, so I think a lot of this had to do with making money and business. And that part of the relationship more than likely will dissolve if the two of them break up. So we don't really have a vibration here yet of, it just says that they may call it quits. But again, they may revive it time and time again. For some reason, they're not speaking. This is Meghan's card. This one is Harry's. So either they had a fight or they're continuously fighting, which it seems like more so to me. She said, I can't talk to you right now. So I feel like either she literally can't talk to him, meaning she feels like when they talk, they just fight, or when they talk, they don't, get a resolution. But right now, there's some kind of tiff going on between them. She is talking about how she can't talk to him right now, and he's saying, I can't make a decision. So she's trying to get him to make some type of decision. He's hemming and hawing. I think this probably has to do with the relationship. Do we stay together? Because remember, they said both of them are looking elsewhere. So I think he's thinking, do we work this out or do we let it go? And I think that she's just the kind of person who's like, this feels like the silent treatment to me. This feels like, you messed up. I don't have nothing to say to you. Get out of my face. That's what this feels like to me. So I feel like they're going through something like that. And then the last card tells us they have a lot of painful memories. I mean, we've seen their painful memories. We've watched them play out in the media. Whole situation when, they got married in the first place and stepping down from their royal duties and their kids losing their royal status and, then, the grandmother dying and now the coronation. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's going on. The rift between, the families, them leaving, London and coming to the States. So these two have a lot of painful memories together. And I'm not surprised this relationship is in trouble, because whenever you go through something like this with the person, it is like you probably trauma bond with that person. And trauma bond has a couple different definitions, but one of them is when you bond with somebody over shared trauma. So maybe people trying to break them up all the time, or, talking down about her, talking down about him, that probably caused them to be closer together. You know how people have that saying about me and you against the world? I think that's what that caused with them. But the thing about it is that once you come into a trauma bond like that, and both of you are like, okay, it's us against the world, what happens when something goes wrong between us? If it's me and you against the world, and then you do something, or I do something, or I'm unhappy with you, then what? So I feel like that's, that's one of those things that can happen. And then that bond, you will quickly notice, is not so strong. 1 minute y'all trauma bonded, next minute that person is public enemy number one. So they have had a lot of those painful type of memories go on. And the last three that I have here, they said the cards, this is the cards recommendation for their relationship. The cards said they need to give it time. They said that they are trying too hard. And I do see this with them. They're always trying so hard to, fight against the tabloids and fight against, how their image looks and stuff like that. I'm like, don't try so hard. Just be yourself. Live your life. Who cares? And the cards are saying they should give it time. So instead of just, breaking apart and saying F this, the cards are like, give it some time. Told them to close your eyes and tell yourself that you deserve to be joyful. You can allow joy into your life regardless of the circumstances you currently find yourself in. So instead of them, fighting against the tabloids or, trying to prove everyone they're right or they're wrong, they need to just have fun, enjoy each other, enjoy their children. They need to appreciate and be grateful for each other and their family. And if they would do that and focus more on each other and focus less on everyone else, it actually would be good for the relationship. And the last card said, life is a series of constantly shifting cycles. When we resist change, we resist the natural flow of life and create unnecessary stress. Go with the flow. You'll be surprised where it leads. So the cards think that they should give it more time, tap into more joy, and go with the flow. So the cards don't even recommend that they actually break up. That's interesting, because the cards are not like, they cards think that they can make it, but they need to kind of, make these changes that are going on. Definitely stop talking to other people. I never recommend that. If you're in a relationship and your, significant other starts messing up, don't call your ex. Do not call your ex. Let your ex be your ex. If you need emotional support, call your mama or call somebody else. Call a best friend. Call a therapist. Do something like that. Do not call the ex. And I think if both of them would focus on each other. See, this is my thing about relationships. If you focus more on each other than you do everything else, on your children and your future, that'd be great. And we just saw that they had some money things going on. They need to be focusing on their finances. So if I was them, I would focus on the big picture things and stop worrying about the press. Stop worrying about what people say. Stop worrying about that. Because my thing is that those kind of things go away. The more you live your life in, an authentic way, and the less problems that come up, the less people talk about you. People only talk about you when you give them something to talk about. If they was just living a nice little quiet, happy, simple life, nobody would be able to talk about them. You see? So I don't feel like it's this, big, abuse of power like people act like it is. I feel like they're both in a little over their head, and it is a chance that one or both of them will give up on the relationship. But I'm telling you guys, do not be surprised if this isn't one of those revolving door relationships where they split and come back together multiple times, because they definitely have that wild card energy. They also, with the wild card energy, it could be wild situations, like wild things could come out, like details about their relationship, or things that have occurred. I wouldn't expect this to be a little quiet relationship. I'm expecting things to pop off. I'm expecting there to be chaos. All right, guys, so that is the deal. What do I think of her? Is she a villain? Nah, it sounds like they're both just two regular people trying to have a relationship. And I think a lot of the interference is coming from external, but I also feel like that, their bond itself can be problematic. I think that this couple should go to couples therapy. If they were my client, that's where I would send them. I would send them to work on these painful memories and release them, and to make decisions about where they wanted to be in the future, and help them with some coping mechanisms, because the silent treatment is not helping your communication. This couple needs to communicate. So you guys come back soon, because I got a lot more to say. See you later.